You know that feeling when you scroll through endless espresso machine listings, see those sleek black bodies and copper accents, and start dreaming about that perfect home barista setup only to end up with a unit that takes forever to heat, drifts in temperature, or just looks great on a countertop and never really delivers the shot you want? I've been there, and that frustration is why I wanted to dig a little deeper before hitting add to cart. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In this video I'm going to walk through what the Rocket Appartamento TCA actually brings to a real kitchen, what kind of daily routine it fits into, and where the value really lies so you can avoid that pricey disappointment. First off, the Appartamento TCA isn't a brand new entry-level machine, it's a redesign of Rocket's classic compact model, built in Milan and finished in either matte black or polished stainless. That means you're getting a piece that's meant to sit on a modest countertop without demanding a dedicated nook. The redesign focuses on three practical areas: temperature control, energy use, and visual feedback. Let's break those down. The temperature side is where the hybrid PID really matters. Traditional heat exchangers in many home machines swing a few degrees off the target as you pull a shot, which translates into inconsistent extraction and a coffee that sometimes tastes flat and other times overly bitter. Rocket's hybrid PID blends a classic thermosiphon system with electronic modulation, letting you dial the brew temperature in small increments. In day-to-day use, that shows up as a steadier shot after the first few pulls, especially once the machine's warmed up. If you're the type who likes to experiment with 90°C versus 94°C for different beans, that fine-tuning is a real convenience. For a casual drinker who just wants a decent espresso without fiddling, the extra control might feel like a feature you never notice, but it does give you a safety net against the temperature drift that plagues cheaper models. Next, the optional standby, or eco mode, is a 30-minute timer that shuts the heating element down after a short idle period. Most espresso machines stay hot all day, which not only wastes electricity but also means the boiler temperature can drift and affect the first shot after a break. With the Appartamento's Eco Mode, you can set it to power down after half an hour of inactivity, then it'll automatically fire back up when you press the brew button. In practice, that means if you usually make coffee in the morning, head out for a commute, and come back around noon, you won't be paying for a machine that's been idling for 5 hours. The trade-off is a slight delay, about a minute or so when you resume brewing after the standby kicks in. If you're impatient and need an espresso the second you hit the switch, that could be a minor annoyance, but for most home users the energy savings outweigh the wait. The third redesign element is the RGB Indicator Light. It's subtle, a thin strip around the control knob that glows green when the machine is ready, amber when it's heating, and red if something isn't right. On paper it sounds gimmicky, but in a busy kitchen it actually cuts down on guesswork. I've seen people stand over a machine, stare at a silent gauge, and keep pressing the brew button because they're not sure if the temperature's stable. With this light, a quick glance tells you exactly where you're at, which is especially handy if you're juggling a French press, a pour-over, and a quick espresso for a guest. Now, who should actually consider buying the Appartamento TCA? If you already own a good grinder and you're serious about pulling multiple shots a day, maybe you run a small home office, entertain friends who demand a café-level pull, or you just love tweaking brew temperature for different origins, this machine hits the sweet spot. Its compact footprint means it won't dominate your countertop, and the handcrafted Italian construction gives it a presence that feels more like a statement piece than a kitchen appliance. The hybrid PID and Eco Mode together make it a solid choice for someone who values consistency and wants to keep their electricity bill in check. On the flip side, there are clear reasons to pass. If you're on a tight budget, the Appartamento TCA sits in a price range that's more comparable to prosumer machines that come with a larger boiler and commercial-grade steam wand. For a first-time espresso maker who just wants a single shot a day, a more basic heat exchanger model could save you a few $100s without sacrificing the basic espresso experience. Also, if you plan to do a lot of milk-based drinks, this machine's steam wand is competent but not as powerful as the ones found on larger dual-boiler rigs. You'll get decent microfoam for a latte, but you might struggle with the volume and consistency needed for a full-size cappuccino. In that case, you might want to look at a machine that dedicates a separate boiler for steam. Let's talk about the hidden trade-offs that only become